So you mentioned that you have three renters that are executing their right to buy the property, and that
Yeah.
they're getting a large amount of equity at the purchase based on the appreciation that they've got over the last 3 years. So that's one of the differences between rental property, a standard rental property, and a rent to own. I'd love to dive into some of the other pros and cons, or the positives and some of the drawbacks of doing this strategy if somebody was looking to maybe shift from standard rental properties into rent to own.
Sure. I some of the positives, and I think there are a lot of positives to it, is it provides you with, I'll say, the cream of the crop as far as people who are looking to reside in your property, right? We are very stringent about our qualifications because we're looking for owners. We're not looking for renters. Mm-hmm. So we require 3 times your income of the lease price, right? Lease amount. So if the lease amount is $1,500 a month, you're going to have to make $4,500 provable income. We require first month's rent, last month's rent, and security deposit to move in. So it's $4,500 to move into a $1,500 a month property. And, we require minimum credit scores. So, we try to make sure that we set people up for success, mm-hmm. Not put them in a house that is going to be 50% of their income in order to make the lease payment, because it's not productive for anybody. So yeah, I think that, you get great people, they take care of your homes, they're in there for a long time. There's a lot of cash flow that's generated for yourself and over the course of the lease, it's very beneficial. Some of the downsides, you can set up some of those prices, and I've done this where you didn't anticipate the appreciation in the market. Yeah. So a good example. I sold a house on 904 Highland in Waukegan. It was one of our first purchases, and we bought it for $37,000. We fixed it up for probably around $30,000, and we leased it out for $1,200 or $1,300 a month for 3 or 4 years. And we had a rent-own price on it of $99,000, and they bought it. And that home today is probably worth, and that was probably 2-3 years ago. That home today is probably worth $150 or more, $160. Wow. So, did we leave some money on the table? Absolutely. But, it's part of, finding those good renters that are going to take care of your house. And, the home that I mentioned, our first one that we made the mistakes on, right? That one is actually a contract was presented to us today on that property. And we bought it for $84,000, and we've rented it for 8 years, right? Average rent's probably been, $1,500, $1,600 a month. Wow. And now they're going to buy it for $170,000. House is probably worth $185,000, $190,000. And then they get their credits. They've been in there for 3 years. So if they paid on time, you get a credit of $150 a month. So it covers closing costs, some of their down payment. So it's a fair program. It's a nice program. Yeah. And we like it because it helps build some ownership, and it's SEPA has SEPA, the Community Partners for Affordable Housing. I'm on the board, and that's part of the reason I'm on that board. And I was on the board of Affordable Housing Corporation of Lake County. It just gives you an opportunity to give back a little bit, mm-hmm. for the arguably the wealth that you've built, because in real estate it gives you the opportunity to build some significant wealth. This gives you an opportunity to give back in a couple ways. So that's what I like about it.
That's awesome. Yeah. And there's never, you're never going to be able to squeeze every penny out of every deal. That I don't think that's the objective to this. The
advantage to this is, so they're executing at $170,000. We're giving them a credit, but I have no commissions, right? I'm not paying a broker to find me a buyer and pay them the 2.5% or 3%. I don't have a listing fee to another broker or agent to list it for me. So I save those costs, and those are significant, and so there's, there's money left on the table, but it's not all bad, right?
Yeah.
There's some good pieces to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've sold a few rental properties recently that have just appreciated a lot. And
Yeah.
yeah, that those closing costs, they'll get you, when you're listing it. So if you can bake all that in or eliminate that by doing that, that's a big chunk. Hey, thanks for joining us for this segment of the interview with Bill Powers. I wasn't super familiar about rent to own before I did this interview, and I got a lot out of it. I took a lot of notes, and if you want to hear the full interview with Bill, you can go to any podcast player and just search for Living Off Rentals. You can also come over to the Facebook group, just search for Living Off Rentals on Facebook, and the group will pop up. You can join it. Bill's in that group. Other really successful rental property owners are in that group. You can ask your questions and engage there. And also, if you enjoyed this video, give it the old thumbs up. And you can also hit subscribe. You'll be notified when other videos are released. I will see you in the next video.